The administrator user, apart from setting up the entire call settings, is sort of the record keeper. Now, I'm just going to quickly cover the last few sections here, which are inside of the admin panel, and how those various sections work. The first here is called the registered users section, and this shows you all of the users who are currently registered for your call. You can see the basic information here, any additional details they've provided, the date they created their account, and also you can edit the user, log in as the user, or view the user details page. If you click on this icon, it will take you to a detail page about that individual user, along with all the associated submissions that belong to that single user. I'll go ahead and click back here. Let's click the edit button on this user. The edit button allows you to either activate or deactivate a user, preventing them from logging in, or changing their email address, which is also their login. If they mistyped this upon initial registration, you can come in here and fix that. Inside of the edit button, you can also delete a user. If you want to remove maybe a test user from your call that you've set up when you were doing some testing, you can go ahead and delete that user at this point. Also, the last option is to be able to log in as a user. When you click the green eyeball icon, you will log in as that user. And everything the user can do, you can do for them on their behalf. So I can come in here, I can edit the submission. Let's say a user has an error I need to correct. I can come in here and select edit and fix a quick problem with their submission. And the administrator users are able to log in and edit details even after the submission close date, where regular users can only edit their submissions up until the closing date. All right, the submissions section, I guess one more thing before I move on, you can also do a keyword search. So if I need to find user Andrew, and you have hundreds of them in there, you can just do a keyword search and it'll automatically pull up the Andrews that are listed there. All right, the submissions section lets me see all of the entries that have come into my call. And you can filter the submissions by category and subcategory. So if I only want to see the 3D ceramic submissions, you can filter just by that category and only see the ceramic submissions. Or you can, of course, filter by all. You can also do keyword search and search by, you can search for submission ID, first name, last name, email, and a few other criteria as well. Now, inside of the submissions page, down here at the bottom, there's a helpful key, because you'll see over here on the sidebar various symbols pop up, and these pop up depending on different things that have taken place. So let's start out by looking at the key. If you see the thumbs down icon, that means the submission has been juried out. Now this notification only appears to admin users before the submission, or rather before the jury end date. After the jury end date, your users will also see this classification when they log in. The second is the juried in. It's a green thumbs up. That means the submission has been accepted or juried in. The third one is the email notification sent. That means, let's see if we can see one that has that. It looks like there's one right there. That's the email notification sent symbol. That means that this submission received the juried in or juried out email notification. The next one down here is refunded. So if you have submission or registration fees and you've had to refund a submission, you will see that icon appear. I don't see any initially here that have the refunded, but the way you refund is you'll come into the payments and refund. So we'll look at that there in a second. The next one is the checked in. The checked in means that you have physically received the submission. I think back here on page 1 I saw one. So it looks like both these two submissions were actually received. In other words, the attendant user has marked those as being physically received. The next one is the rejected icon. So if you have a submission that you need to reject, like this one right here, they'll show up with a rejected icon. Now the way rejection works is, let's say you accept a submission into your call and there's a problem with it. It could be whatever problem, maybe they misspelled something or they have incorrect information. You can reject that submission by clicking this icon right here. And this takes you to this page where you'll type in a reason. You'll say, image quality too low, please upload new images or something like that. And then I'll click reject submission. And what this does is it will send an email to this user with your reason. So they'll get an email that says your submission ID 29 has been rejected because you need to fix, and then it'll show this message. So then the user would log in, correct any issues, and they would resubmit the piece of work. So this submission right here from Jane Doe has been rejected. So I'm going to log into Jane Doe's account so you can see what it looks like from her end when a submission is rejected. So we'll log into Jane Doe. Let's log in as her. So in Jane Doe's account, you can see this submission right here is yellow, meaning it's rejected, and she gets this notice. Remember, she also gets an email. And so once she's fixed any problems, she clicks the resubmit button, and this will resubmit the entry and notify the admin user. So then it triggers an email which goes to the administrator, which says, hey, Jane Doe has fixed her submission. Double check and make sure everything is now correct. That's the way submission rejection works. All right, let's move here to the next key here. The next one in the line is a booth paid. So if you have booths and they have been paid, you'll see that little symbol over here that tells you that that booth is all taken care of. If your item has been sold, so if your users list sale prices and you've set up buyers in your buyers tab, the attendant user can actually sell artwork through the system, and it's automatically associated to buyer with an entry. And so if you sell a piece, you'll see a little sold icon on that submission, so you know that it's already been sold. And then lastly here is the hidden from juror. Occasionally you'll have a few submissions that come in that you don't want to show to jurors for one reason or the other. And you can do that by simply editing the submission like this, and where it says the status here, we can switch that to hide from jurors. So let's go ahead and update that, and we'll come back to that page, and you'll now be able to see that this submission, ID number 39, would no longer appear to any jurors when a juror logs in. It's hidden from them. And that's how the key works. Now, inside of this info column, you'll see 4 boxes. The first box is the print receipt page. If you or your users need to print receipts, you can easily just click that and print them. The second box will show you the jury history. So all of the jurors and all of their votes and any optional notes will appear there. This box is the details about the user themselves. Any custom submission or custom registration fields you have set up will appear here. And this last box are details about the submission. So these would be the custom submission fields. They would appear here. And you just click these to activate these quick boxes. If you need to re-notify a user, so let's say I sent this notification to this user, he's already been notified. Let's say I want to notify this guy, but I don't want to use the mass jury quite yet. I just want to notify him individually. I can go ahead and select this command and then press OK, and that will send the juried in notification email to him. So you can do that for each individual user if for some reason you don't want to use the mass notifying. Next, underneath the attachments is their attachments. So whether they have one or many attachments, they'll appear here in the attachments column. This is the thumbnail. When you click on the attachment, it shows you the medium-sized version. And if you use these arrows, you can just cycle between all of the submission attachments for all of the submissions. If you click on the print icon, it will show you the full-size print resolution. So this is the largest version that we store for the work of art. So we have the thumbnail. Click the thumbnail, you get the medium. Click the print icon, you get the full-size one that you could print in a magazine or something like that. If the user has uploaded 3 or 4 submissions, you can choose which one is known as the featured image. I'm trying to see if there's one that does. So here's a couple that have multiple images. So for this one right here, there's 2 different images that are associated with this entry. Now, typically they would be of the same thing. These are just samples here. But the first one uploaded by default is the image that will appear on the web gallery. But if I want a different one to appear there, I can click the edit button next to any of these attachment pieces, and I can click the featured option and then say update. And now this is the image that will appear on the gallery page for this particular submission, and you can see that it gets a little featured icon there letting you know that that's the featured image now out of a set of however many that they have attached. All of these are bitmap data images, but if the user has uploaded other images like Word docs or PDFs or movies, you'll see their respective file type icon there, and that tells you that it's a different type of file. If they've added a web address, you'll see their web address right here, and clicking on that web address will actually take you straight to that page as well. And that's how the attachment section works inside of this submission view. So there's quite a bit going on inside of this submission view. It's probably where the admin people live a lot. They come into here a lot and work a lot and see what's going on with their submissions in here. You can also sort all of these columns, ascending or descending according to your needs. So that is the submissions section. All right, this is a long video, but there's a lot to cover here. Next is the payments. And the payment section is simply mostly an information-based page. So if you have submission fees or booth fees or registration fees, custom fees, you'll see all those payments show up here. So if you have a user that submits something and they say, hey, I want a refund, you can just quickly come in here, find their submission, and click refund, and this will automatically issue a refund. This isn't going to work because this is on a demo account here, which is why I'm getting an error. These aren't actual live submissions, but you can refund those directly there with the refund button. You can also export the payment data from here as well. All right, let's move into the buyers. Now, buyers are listed here if the attendant user has created buyers and sold artworks that were listed for sale to buyers. So this call currently doesn't have any buyers associated or any submissions. So the attendant video, the video that details what the attendant user does, will cover this page in more detail. And then lastly here is the juries page. So this will show you all of the individual juries that all of your juror users have created and even their notes. So if I want to come in here and see what this juror has done, I can just filter out by this juror and see all of their submissions, all the points they assigned, the IDs they were associated to, any notes that they typed that I might want to read. And that just simply shows me all of the jury data. So that's kind of what the admin user is responsible for as far as administering these sections, apart from all the call settings. Now, I highly recommend that the admin user also watch the jury video so they can understand what the jurors are doing, and also the attendant video so they can understand what the attendants are doing.